Hello and thank you for joining RasPiPkr tutorials. I'm Martin Parker, and in this first video of the series playlist, this is going to be going on about what I call, it's just a start of it basically. It's called clock.py, and I'll show you what happens. But as I've already started this part, I've only just recently started it, so that's why it's like a catch-up video. So I'm importing three libraries. I've got tkinter, time and sys. I'm creating a root window, setting the geometry to be the size of my LCD screen, which is 800 by 480 pixels. I've commented this line out so it doesn't go full screen on this display, because this is a 15.4 inch. Obviously this display that it's set for is a 5-inch HDMI touchscreen, so it won't look right. I'm configuring, setting the cursor to not be there, and you'll see in a couple of moments. I'm setting the black background to be black. I've set up two fonts. I've got a normal text font, and I've downloaded a text font which was free that I got online, and that's the sizing that I'm using. The current time and current date will be set as string variables through the tkinter. Moving down, I've got some functions. I've got show time, which will actually keep looping itself after 1000 milliseconds, so 1 second basically. So it'll just keep recursively running itself. And what it does is it sets the time and the date. Whether the date's actually being used or not, it'll still set them variables. So I've got the time getting pulled, and I'm splitting it up because the way that it does it, it'll show the day, date, month, and then it'll, in the third in split, it would be the time. So as you can see, I'm going to 0, 1, 2 and the 4th. So I'm sorting out the way that I want it to display. These parts here, excuse me, if main menu screen is true, so when it's being clicked on the big button that's down here, that will go through, what will happen is it will check the timer seconds, which is currently set for as an integer, minus the last touch. So when that is more than 15 seconds, it will then go back to the screensaver, which is the big digits for the display for the time, basically, which is what I call my screensaver, just so there's no bright stuff on the screen, and you'll see in a moment. Moving down, I've got my screensaver function, where I'm using a global for disk frame and menu screen. Disk frame is destroyed. It does get this started in the start of the text script, sorry, and then I recreate it, and that way it clears the whole screen and puts what I want to have it on the screen. There is other ways that you can do it, but I've found this to work no problem, so that's the way I'm doing it. So I'm creating the frame, I'm just packing it in there, and then what I'm doing is, and I'll explain when I get the screen script running, the root will then move the cursor to that position on the display. So basically it's going to be at the bottom right hand corner, and I'll show you in a moment. The menu screen will be false, so this part is not being recalled. The big button speaks for itself. It's a tkinter widget. It's going to be in the disk frame, and the text variable is the current time that I've got. I'm using that time format font. I'm setting a border of 0, highlight thickness, so I don't have that outline around the actual button. Setting the button to be flat with a background of black, foreground of grey when you click with the text, active background as grey, because if you have that set for black, when you put your mouse over it, it just goes black, so you can't see anything. Technically, you're not going to be using a mouse, but I've just put that in there just so it makes sense when you're using a cursor as I'm testing. And that will run the command when you press that button to bring up the main menu. So the main menu function, I'm recreating them instances, the variables, sorry, and I'm using the last touch. From when you touch that screen, it will get the integer value of the time, not as in the actual time like you see up in the top corner. It's the milliseconds since the timer began. So I'm creating two labels as well. One is for just to display the time using that text font, and then label 2 is in that window for the current date and the text font used. And further from the code above, I'm setting my testing exit. That is not really being used now, but it's just sat there. I was rather having it because I had it as for the full screen. What I did was I had it set in the main menu on a previous testing, so that when you clicked the time, it would increment testing exit, and when it got to a certain amount, it would just completely end the script. So that's all that's for. So I can't take that out to be fair. So let's just get rid of that. So I'm setting the menu screen to be false. Global for the display frame. Creating the frame, packing it in there, and then I'm running the Screensaver to get the new window frame, and then I'm starting the show time. So it will run them both, and it'll be okay. And root.main loop, so the window stays on the screen. So let's just get running it, and I'll explain. So as you can see, there's a black background. You've got the current time, and when I put my cursor in there, you can't see the cursor itself, but it does go background as grey. Like I say in the script, it sets the cursor. So if you can notice where my cursor is near the bottom right area, if I go into the grey area, you can just see a black line. So that is the place where the cursor is being set, and it's roughly just about there sort of area, just so that it looks quite nice, and it's nothing bright that's going to be on the screen, and that's why I call it my screensaver. So that's that. So when you click the big button, as I call it, it will just bring up this, just as a testing purposes. This would actually be the main menu of the heating and the security side, and then you would choose them, but I will implement them in the next videos. So there you go. After 15 seconds, it's gone back to the screensaver, which is this part. Click it again, and that will come back in about 29-ish, I think it will have been. So there you go. That's the date format that I've got it set so that I can have it, on how I set them variables. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this